Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Chris, your NFL writer here at OccupyFantasy.com, here with a look at the quarterback position for the Week 12 action on Sunday on FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo. As you know by now, we're dropping these position preview videos every single week throughout the season, so please, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment below if you have any questions about quarterbacks for Week 12. Smaller slate, only 10 games, 7 games in the 1 p.m. early window here in the Eastern Standard Time coast, 3 games in the 4 p.m. window. So definitely going to be a little bit different, a little bit tighter, but a lot of action, I think, on the late slate, a lot of the popular tournament quarterbacks anyway in the late slate. So that'll be interesting to watch how that plays out. The most popular quarterback on this slate is probably one of the cheaper ones on DraftKings, and it's actually Cam Newton with the Carolina Panthers. See, he's just 5,600 here on DraftKings on Sunday, 8,000 on FanDuel. Cam, we were told he was going to be sharing the work with PJ Walker last week. Cam ended up playing all 51 offensive snaps for the Panthers, so have to believe he'll do the same thing here against the Dolphins in Week 12. Cam played this Dolphins team twice last year and was pretty efficient, even though didn't score a lot of touchdowns. Did have both of his touchdowns in the games against the Dolphins on the ground, however. So Cam definitely still has a lot of rushing upside. He and McCaffrey each with 10 carries last week, so I think Cam is going to continue to be utilized that way, and particularly on DraftKings, even though this is a low total game, Newton going to be one of the better quarterback options for low-risk contests especially. My favorite quarterback on this slate is priced up. He's the second most expensive now. It's Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles, 7,300 on DraftKings, 8,400 on FanDuel. Obviously, 3 rushing touchdowns last week was pretty incredible, but the way that he's being used, I mean, that's never out of the picture for him, obviously. Hurts and the Eagles have a pretty modest team total in this slate. It's like 24 and a half, 24 and 3/4 points. Good running matchup for the Eagles. The Giants not a very good run defense. It's a below average passing matchup, but this is not a very high volume passing offense to begin with, so that may not matter for a player like Hurts. The Eagles and the Giants are also a very fast matchup here in Week 12. Eagles have the 3rd fastest situation neutral pace in football, while the Giants have the 10th. So between the two of them, this actually could be an up-tempo game, and that would be good things. This could be an up-tempo game, and that would mean nothing but good things for Jalen Hurts and his weapons here in Week 12. Justin Herbert with the Chargers is going to be pretty popular against the Denver Broncos. One of the first games in the 4 p.m. window, 4:05 p.m. Eastern kick for the Chargers against the Broncos. 4th best pass blocking in the league, and really good matchups in the passing game for 2 of his favorite weapons, Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. So expect to see the modestly priced Justin Herbert to be pretty popular in Week 12 contests on FanDuel and DraftKings, 7,800 over on the FanDuel side of things. As far as game stacks go, highest game total on the slate is Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Indianapolis Colts. So obviously Tom Brady, the GOAT himself, will be extremely popular. 7,600 on DraftKings, 8,200 on FanDuel. Once again, without Antonio Brown. So there will be some concentrated volume in the passing game on Chris Godwin and Mike Evans at wide receiver. Rob Gronkowski being back at tight end is certainly something Tom Brady also likes to see. This matchup is potentially a nightmare for the Indianapolis Colts when you put the full picture together. Bucks have the highest implied team total on the slate. That's the first thing. This game has the highest over-under total. The Bucks are projected to see the 2nd least defensive pressure in our model over at OccupyFantasy.com out of all offensive lines and therefore all quarterbacks. So Tom Brady won't be getting rushed a lot by the Colts defense, and that could be a disaster. Lastly, something you don't want to see when you're facing a pass-heavy offense like the Bucks with Tom Brady under center. The Colts allow 2.3 passing touchdowns per game to opposing quarterbacks this year. On the other side of this matchup, Carson Wentz is the 2nd highest ranked quarterback in our model this week. He's really affordable here, 5,800 on DraftKings, 7,300 over on FanDuel, and we can obviously project a pretty tight concentration of opportunities in this offense between obviously Jonathan Taylor, who we'll talk about in our running back video, but obviously Michael Pittman, T.Y. Hilton in the passing game, Zach Pascal out of the slot. So could see Carson Wentz also getting there, and we're going to need him to keep up with the Bucs if this game meets our expectations here in Week 12. Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. The Rams are visiting the Packers here in Week 12, headed to Lambeau. Rodgers didn't practice at all this week. Got in one more picture of his foot or whatever, right, than an actual practice, but didn't seem to be a problem last week for him. Only got in a limited practice last week on Friday and still went out there and threw 385 yards, 4 touchdown passes against the Vikings defense. Now facing the Rams in a pretty important game for top seeding in the entire NFC. Rodgers will look to stay on top of things here and play pretty well. On the other side of this game, we have Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Thing that's benefiting the Rams here, other than their bye week, obviously, is that they are the fastest situation neutral pace team in the league. So there's going to be an up-tempo offense on the road, pass heavy, trying to succeed against a Packers defense. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. This is a very big game for Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I'm sure they've known that while they've been preparing for the better part of the last 2 weeks. They're not just trailing the Packers in the overall race for number one seed in the NFC. They're not even winning their own division. So they really need to win every single game that they have left in front of them. It'll be interesting to see what Stafford can do after he's had some extra time to prepare for the Packers defense. Some other games that I think might be interesting. We like the Vikings and the 49ers, as a potential game stack. So that means Kirk Cousins of the Vikings, who obviously played very well last week against the Packers, and then Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers. Will be a couple of different guys we're going to be looking at here over at Occupy Fantasy. And then a game that's really only relevant to us fantasy players, frankly, the Jets and the Texans. Tyrod Taylor played very well against the Titans last week, facing a Jets defense that is allowing a league-high amount of passing yards per game to opposing quarterbacks. And obviously, we know what he can do on the ground. He was able to score a couple times running last week. So we like Tyrod Taylor as well here in Week 12. Looking at the rest of the quarterback position, Ryan Tannehill has none of his weapons. A.J. Brown has been ruled out. Jeremy McNichols in the passing game has been ruled out. Julio's already on injured reserve. He's not going to play. This is a tough situation for the Titans, who are touchdown underdogs against the Patriots. Don't think he's going to be one of the 5 highest scoring quarterbacks on the slate at this point. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars facing the Atlanta Falcons, another game that probably only matters to us fantasy players. That might be interesting. Daniel Jones, obviously on the other side of Jalen Hurts, does have some upside, but he's down 2 of his best weapons in Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney here in Week 12. So that may also be a situation where we want to avoid someone here at the quarterback position in DFS contests. Very thin week, right? We only have 10 games on the slate in total. Pretty much think we covered all the top ones for you here in the video, but if you have any questions about any other quarterbacks or a quarterback I talked about, please leave a comment in the comment section below. That is going to do it. We're done here looking at quarterbacks, so keep an eye out for the daily plug at Occupy Fantasy. It should be out by about dinner time here on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday, roughly, at the latest. So that's where we'll go over not just our favorite expensive and value quarterbacks on the slate, but also our favorite running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, everything that really you need to know about each of those players, and how to, most importantly, deploy them effectively in whatever contest you're playing, whether that's lowest contests or highest contests here in Week 12. We'll make sure that we give you some tips on how to use our favorite plays of the week in there. Certainly don't want to miss that. It's the most important part of the plug. That is going to do it, folks. Thank you once again for watching this video. As always, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video. Those 2 things let us know you really want to see more of this type of content. We certainly do appreciate that. Once again, for Occupy, I am Chris. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you soon.